Thank you very much. Look, I try to deliver bullshit-free content because content with bullshit is already out there. Today I'm going to talk about tomorrow's rate announcement, the bonds, and immigration. And I'm going to include a link to this video from last October, just so you can see for yourself that I deliver no bullshit. And because I deliver no bullshit, what I say comes to pass. First up, a refresher on what behavioral economics is. It's the economics that I believe in. It's the economics where they put psychology, the way people behave, together with economics. Because the other economic schools, they think that people are these perfect humans that always make the best possible logical choice. Perfect example is the rate announcement tomorrow. Most economists saying there's going to be a hold. I say there's going to be a cut. Why? Because we need to cut, because the economy is shit. But even those experts are saying that there's going to be at least 2 cuts this year. I'm saying 3. Why are they saying there's a hold? Because the GDP was better than expected. And this is where the disconnect is. The GDP was better than expected because everyone and his brother acknowledge that there was a buying spree to avoid tariffs. Who doesn't acknowledge that? Economists. They just say, oh, it was better. Done. If the Bank of Canada makes a decision along those lines that, well, the GDP was fine for that 1 month, they'll be making a mistake. Will they make a mistake? Well, they could. They've made tons of mistakes in the past. The right choice is a cut tomorrow. Let's hope they make the right choice. If they don't cut, it's a bad choice. It'll cause problems down the road. All right, speaking of cuts, this still confuses people. How do the cuts affect the bond market? And what's this thing about bonds going down and yields going up? All right, one more time. The yield, okay, that's the percentage getting paid from the bond, okay? But when you buy a bond, whether it's on the secondary market or from the government or whatever, there's a price to that bond. It's a set price, like $5, $6, $10, whatever. It's that price that goes up and down in this market. If people are selling, they have to sell at a discount, so that $5 becomes $4. If people are buying, they're buying at a premium, so that $5 becomes $6. But that percentage being paid never changes. So if you pay more for your bond, you're going to get a lower yield. If you pay less for your bond, you get a higher yield. That's why when people are buying bonds, the yields go down. When people are selling bonds, the yields go up. What happens when they cut rates? That. The yields go down because when they cut rates, future bonds will be at a lower interest rate than current bonds, right? So like a bond that you get from a government over here will pay a lower interest rate than a bond from back here. So when the Bank of Canada cuts rates, the bond market wants to buy older bonds, driving down the yields. Just like here, and that's what's happening here. People selling bonds tends to be an indicator that things are bad in the economy, and people have been selling bonds lately. See how the yield is going up? That, to me, says they need to cut rates. All right, from October, let's talk about immigration. From October, that's the real-time population clock. It said 41,782,174 people. And in the summer of last year, the pace of the real-time population clock put us on track to be at 42 million people by December. And here's where there's a disconnect between myself and people who tend to vote conservative. I look at the right here, the right now, the decisions being made. So many people want to live in the past. Canada's population estimate for fourth quarter 2024, this came out a few months ago, 41,528,000 people. As of yesterday, the real-time population clock, 41,671,833 people. You'll note that that does not say 42 million. You'll also note that it's less than it was in October. Why is it like this? Why is this happening? Because they fixed the problem. They've slowed the population growth. They understood there was a problem, and they made changes. Isn't that what we want? Like, what's the point of talking about something that happened in the past if it's already been rectified? I don't understand. Now, some right about now will say, oh, that's all bullshit from the government. Yeah, but rents are falling. Vacancy rates are increasing. That means there's fewer people looking for apartments, fewer people looking for rentals. It's still hard to find a rental. Don't get me wrong. That's a byproduct of us having not enough dedicated rental space. But the pressure is falling. That's why rents are falling. That's real world evidence that this is for real. Potential landlords aren't in the market taking advantage of these lower home prices, which again is evidence that this is for real. And that's for real. Let me wrap this up by saying that even if there is a cut tomorrow, I don't think it's going to turn much around in terms of housing. I think there's a buying opportunity out there, but it's going to be a while before people take advantage of that buying opportunity. Most people will be too late to the game. They'll want to get into the game and buying homes when the home prices start increasing again. Because that's what science says.